Hi. So let's talk frankly for a few minutes about my eyes. They're usually one of the first things people notice about me. Some people are put off by them, others think they're very interesting. I'm going to show you a close up of my eyes real quickly. And the short version is that I have a congenital eye disease, congenital meaning hereditary, called aniridia. And aniridia, well, both of my parents have it. I should mention that. And aniridia is essentially a vehicle for a number of other eye conditions, including glaucoma, cataracts, nystagmus, dyslexia, low vision, and those are the ones I'm aware of. Now, of those, I have about 80%, so I'm 80 proof, so to speak. I don't have dyslexia, fortunately. So, by the time I was age 5, I had about 5 surgeries to reduce the pressure in my eyes caused by glaucoma. Glaucoma really is a buildup of fluid in your eye, and it increases the pressure and can obviously cause ultimately a lot of sight loss on its own. So, in the latter part of those surgeries, they decided to give me codeine as a painkiller. Well, at that, they discovered very quickly afterwards that I was allergic to it. And the reason they discovered that is because it caused me to have seizures, fits of rage, however you want to categorize it, and I beat my head on the floor. It was a linoleum floor with a concrete underbelly, and it caused my eyes to hemorrhage. Now, I don't have any memory of any of that stuff. Sort of very vague memories of my head, but like so blurry I can't even really remember. Just like I know it's there, right? So, anyways, the site I'm aware of from the time I was 5, post that stuff, all the way until now. And from then until now, I've lost about 60% of my sight. The most significant part of that happened in the early 2000s, around 2001, when I was in my late 20s. I went to see a glaucoma specialist, one of the really internationally renowned glaucoma specialists in Dallas, and he told me that I could gain some sight. He believed if I had a corneal transplant. He said if it didn't work, then I wouldn't be any worse off than I already was. So I decided to have that surgery on my right eye. So I went to have the surgery, and for about 4.5 months afterwards, I did have a dramatic improvement. I went from not being able to read print without adaptive aids, like I couldn't read a piece of paper like a quote-unquote normally sighted person without technology to increase the size. And I mean exponentially enough to where I could read it. And usually it has to be negative because white causes a glare that's hard for me to see. So for about 4.5 months, I could do that. I could get real close and read like 12-point bold font on regular paper. And I could even see the dimples in the sheetrock in the ceiling, which I had never been able to do before. At about 4.5 months, though, I was making a film at the time, and I don't know if that was a result of it because I was doing some scenes where I was shooting a gun, and I don't know if I got backfire in or something. It was never suggested that that was the ultimate reason, but I started to lose that sight in my right eye. I went to the doctors, and for about 2.5 months they researched it and finally figured out that my retina in my right eye had detached, which makes me believe it had nothing to do with the set incident, just what was going on in my eyes. So they tried to re-adhere it with a gas bubble, but it did not take. Then my right eye started to shut down, and it entered what's called ptysis, my eyeballs more specifically. So ptysis is, there is a cell in the middle of your eyeball that they call a ciliary cell. This is how it was explained to me. And the ciliary cell is the office manager of your eye. It, sort of manages all the processes that creates the fluids that make your eyeball look like a grape. Well, when the ciliary cell shut down in my eye, in my right eye, it stopped producing fluid. and my eye went from looking like a grape to looking like a raisin, which is my right eye is flat and it has sort of that droopy lid, which, believe me, I don't think is very attractive. So, yeah, so in 2003, about 2 years later, I moved to New York for a bit, and I went to the New York hospital, and then sometime after that, I went to the Baylor hospital, and both of those doctors, sets of doctors, told me that they didn't understand why anybody would ever operate on me in the first place, because there was only about a 5% chance of it ever working at all. This is what both doctors in New York and here at Baylor in Houston said. So people told me I should sue, but I just never did. I just never did, and probably I could be a multi-millionaire right now just by settlement, but I just never did. So that's the end of that, unfortunately. And there's a limit on statutes on how long you can sue for something like that. Anyways, what it came down to was that the doctor who did the surgery on me, as renowned as he was as a glaucoma specialist, he wasn't an aniridia or other conditions type specialist. So my eyes being as time bombish as they are, he could fix one thing, but the makeup of my eye is, the DNA is so alternate to normal that it essentially rejected, and the eye in its own way was fighting back from what it thought was an infection. And it ultimately spread back to the retina, and boom, I lost my right eye. So that's really a shorter explanation of where my eyes come from. If you're someone who has any questions about this, or you are someone with a similar situation, would like to ask me any questions, please feel free to do so in the comments. I would really appreciate it if you would hit that like button before you go, and share this with your friends who might be interested in this topic. And if it's even better for me, and hopefully for you, if you like the videos I'm starting to do here, you know what I'm saying, then click that subscribe button and stick around for more. Because there's lots more, and not just about my personal life, but my opinions on, current events and TV shows and yada yada yada. So, yada 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 means, it seems to sound more fun. Yada yada yada! So, stick around. Thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Pieces. Reese's Pieces.